before anybody could even show it, we had an offer for nearly 2,500
higher.
Yeah,
That's crazy. So
was that a sight unseen or
sight unseen? So I'm always worried about sight unseen because then if the tenant gets in there, they complain, and then the hype is already gone, and they're going to regret their decision. But he reassured me it's fine. He knows the building. He's coming from the States, and
I've done a couple of those during COVID, but I make them sign a sort of a waiver liability because ultimately I use my best
so you don't get sued, right?
Yeah, so I get exactly.
It's actually really smart.
I get it. The Toronto real estate market is confusing. Whether you're a new or experienced investor or just looking for a home to raise your family in, join us at Broadview Table Talks as we sit around the table with my friends and talk about the real estate and the ever-changing market in Toronto.
All right, guys, welcome to another edition of Broadview Table Talks podcast. We're episode 4. And today we're talking about the rental market because I predicted this a while ago. If you check my Instagram, I'm pretty sure, or somewhere, I said that the rental market's going to be on fire. 3 months ago, we said this at the beginning of the year when the interest rates started rising. And I have a theory of why that's happening. But anyway, we'll talk about that later as we get into the episode. Kayvon is our leasing specialist on the team. He handles all the leases and he represents tenants. So basically, it doesn't cost the tenant anything to work with them, but it's way more efficient to have somebody on your side. So Kayvon is working in an underrepresented market where a lot of people don't want to do rentals at the end of the day because it's not much money, to be frank. Right. And it's a lot of volume you have to do in order to make a decent living. So Kayvon's awesome at this. He's got a great process down. He knows how to package up a tenant application properly and get it accepted to the landlord, obviously without lying, obviously with being ethical.
As honest as possible.
As honest. No honest as possible. It's either you're honest or you're not. Yeah. So he does it in an honest way. Yeah. And he just knows how to work the landlord scene and talk to landlords properly and get the right required documents and make sure it gets done. On top of that, he's efficient in doing showings and he gets to know what the client wants, what the tenant wants, and finds a place for them. So thanks for doing what you're doing. We need that leasing specialist. So let's talk about your experience. What's happening today?
Well, it's becoming more and more obvious. The market, as you said, is super hot. It's crazy. We were able to do bookings before and take our time to make to the showings, and now we do bookings. And if we're not on top of it, we get notifications that showing canceled or notifications for 1, 2, 3, even more offers.
So by bookings, you mean basically as you're gathering up, you talk to the tenant and you find out their profile, find out what they're looking for, you find a criteria, you look on MLS or wherever else you're looking for properties.
That's right.
You request them ahead of time with appointments and you book them so that you're in schedule and you kind of see 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 properties at the same time, all sequentially. So that's what you're talking about. You book the appointment and then all of a sudden it gets canceled because it's leased out.
That's right. Yeah.
So and that's happening right now.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And I basically have to almost coach my clients now to be a lot more on top of their game,
getting the information ready.
Get the information ready.
As a landlord, we represent landlords, as you know. And what actually happens is when we see a package that's put together sloppy, it looks bad on the tenant too, because it's a reflection of how they put things together.
That's right.
When you present yourself, you want to present yourself nicely. Have all your rental application, your credit information, your employment, past rentals and all that, and the actual offer itself without any mistakes.
Yep.
Right? And that's so simple. And have it nice and neat PDF, and it's kind of just organized.
Yeah.
So that's happening now. We actually had a listing recently, right, Neil?
Yeah. We just had one, and it went crazy.
Well, we do a lot of listings, but the listing that we have was not.
101 Peter?
Yeah,
the recent one.
So we listed it's a 475 square foot. Actually, tell us
again. Yeah, 475 square feet. So it's fairly small.
Yeah,
it's a 1-bedroom, downtown core, but it has a pretty big balcony space, which is kind of cool. No parking, so we already put it for 2,300. And before anybody could even show it, we had an offer for nearly 2,500
higher.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So almost
was that a sight unseen
or sight unseen? So I'm always worried about sight unseen because then if the tenant gets in there, they complain, and then the hype is already gone, and they're going to regret their decision. But he reassured me it's fine. He knows the building. He's coming from the States, and
I've done a couple of those during COVID, but I make them sign a sort of a waiver liability because ultimately I use my best,
so you don't get sued, right?
Yeah, so I get
smart.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's actually really smart.
What do you do for that? Do you go for them?
We do video. I do video, and basically I kind of prep the camera on the floor, show them the dimensions, make sure that I get them as much video feedback as I can, because but ultimately it's much better. I always recommend the client, if you can come and actually be physically there, that is the best.
Because you're going to be living there at the end of the day. It's not like an investment where somebody else is going to be living there. They're going to be living there. So they got to make sure it's...
You get a vibe. As soon as they get into the lobby, it's for you or it's not for you. You know,
a lot of people always say, like, how do you pick places? Like, you just know. You know what I mean? You just see it. And when you fall in love with it. Whatever. It's like, whatever.
There's a feel.
So let's get the stats out of the way. The rental market from this June to the previous June, so that's last month. So we're looking at the overall prices, right? It went up by, just anybody take a guess how much price year over year?
Year over year.
Well, there was a recovery from COVID, but let's say
so it's not really
like somewhere 6-8% maybe.
More than that.
More than that.
Wow. I was thinking like 12 to 15%.
No, it's 21.9%. So if you're wondering where I'm getting this information from, it's from Urban Nation. They look at MLS and they look at other purpose-built rentals and things like that. But 21.9% year-over-year price growth, and we're looking at month-over-month from May to June this year. 4.7%. That's 5% it went up, and that's month-over-month is not a really good accurate stat, right? But like that's huge.
Yeah,
it truly shows how fast everything shifts.
Yeah,
really
very fast. Especially, and I saw that shift, and people are very unprepared. Like they come, and they want this and that for that price. And I say to them, well, you don't have to believe me. We can set you up on, I use Colab a lot. Your favorite, Ken. But it's a great tool for managing one's self expectations. If what they want is not available within the price points that they're searching, then you don't have to believe me. It's just it's all there. Yeah, it's all there for you.
So then, so we're looking at GTA condo rents. So that's everything in terms of like freehold, purpose-built rental, and condo. An average price right now of $26.37 for GTA condo rents, and they've risen up 10.5% since the end of 2021. So that's December 31st, I assume. Mm-hmm. And it surpassed pre-pandemic peak of Q3 2019, which is $2,481 by 63%. So we're up 10.5% since the end of last year.
That's right.
Right? Since the beginning of the year, really. And 21.9% year over year. That's crazy. And an average price of $23.67. That's nuts. It used to be $2,400.
Yeah.
And that's why, sight unseen, we got 8% higher than what the asking price was, which was historically pretty good.
Yeah.
And we're seeing competitive offer, multiple bids.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to wonder right now. It's always a guessing work, but is it lack of inventory, or is it
Absolutely
the mandates of immigrations that are coming in?
All of it, all the above.
All of it
is
demand
and
impacting
supply.
this. Yeah.
I wish I could show you the slide. Maybe I'll bring it up on screen when we before we post this video. If you're watching on YouTube, but you could see the average price here. It just kind of goes like this, right?
Yeah.
And the surplus or the inventory. Here's what it went, months of supply. So it was like this during the pandemic when everybody wanted to leave Toronto and the city.
Yeah.
And then now it's back way down, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at these two numbers here. Maybe we'll pull it up on the camera. I don't know if it shows up. Maybe I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, so I mean, COVID obviously impacted the market originally. The prices went crazy down because Airbnb took a crap. And then
it wasn't just Airbnb, though. Airbnb was only like 7,000 units or so.
Yeah.
But I think, what the hell's going on out there, man?
I don't know. It looks like an escort.
No, I think they're passing. Okay, whatever.
Anyway, so yeah, it was. Well, I mean, that helped with it, and then the mandates from the government, 400,000 plus, immigrate.
And I think at the end of the day, everybody wants to just leave the city because they wanted more space, right?
Yeah.
For the same price, why wouldn't you go? And everyone's working from home and all that.
Yeah.
But now that this is peak rental season when everybody wants to be downtown, when it's nice outside, there's so many things to do.
It's nuts,
and so people are coming back. I find
I'm almost afraid. Like some of the clients, I actually warned them ahead of time. I'm saying, I'm good at what I do, but you better be prepared.
Well, they got to know that, right? Because actually, I should look at your stats, but the percentage of repeat business so far hasn't been that high.
No,
because I guess you're not new, but it's not like they keep coming back because it happens once
it's
a year.
Mostly the ones that came in and that didn't know Toronto. They kind of found a spot for a year, and now they kind of got their footing and they know what's going on. Now they want to move to either a bigger place or something.
Right. So. What I'm trying to say is that it's all new people. Yeah. And they don't really know you yet. So how can they really trust you if they don't really know you? You know what I mean? They don't know who you are. So anyway, you're doing good at what you do. So that's awesome.
I think it's in the delivery. I deliver it so straightforward. They're like, oh my God, this guy must know. I mean, it's
there's
just
no shortage
simple.
Of renters. At the end of the day, if they're not following your process, don't take them.
That's exactly it. Like I used to want to help everyone, and then I realized I can't, especially if they're not trying to, I'm like, help me help you, Yeah. But, you know, anyways.
So anyway, you're running around like crazy, finding places, getting offers rejected, competing with multiple offers. Yeah. I find that's the issue right now because it's so hard to buy a place now because interest rates are going higher.
Yeah.
The affordability is shrinking because interest rates are higher. So because the stress tests and all that
stuff. They can't qualify the same.
Can't qualify, right? Appraisals are coming down because of that. The market's coming down. So there's no inventory for people selling. So no one wants to sell. So it just basically shrinks the supply and demand, right? At the end of the day. But at the end of the day, people need somewhere to live.
Yeah, and I'm actually seeing people spending like, you know, big money on rent.
Right.
Which in the normal market, I'd be like, why aren't you buying? This is a mortgage.
Well,
you know, they don't
that's the question. Why aren't you
exactly.
buying, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess a lot of people don't have the capacity to put that down payment.
The down payment,
right?
exactly.
But they also have to think that you don't have to put 20% down. Everybody thinks they have to put 20% down. You don't have to do that.
That's the thing I keep trying to explain to people. It's like, do you even know how much buying power you really have?
Yeah, that's why you got to talk to a mortgage broker and get qualified ahead of time. But yeah, you can do that as low as 5% down. There's RSPs. There's the first-time home buyer assistance. Now there's a first-time home buyer saving plan or something. Mm-hmm. So I forgot how much money we could put down, but at least like maybe 100 and something grand they can help you with.
We keep throwing this number around in each podcast. Yeah, we got to put it up there.
Yeah, for first-time buyers. Yeah. But so people are shifting away from buying because they can't get in, so they're going to renting. And
that's right.
If you want to live in Toronto, right? And for the 450,000 people coming to Canada, majority of them are coming to a big city just because that's where the jobs are.
That's
right?
it.
If your company like, I don't know, KPMG, Microsoft, whatever, just name some random companies out there, the talent pool is downtown. Yep. They're not going to want to start a company like a big high rise in, I don't know, name some small town. I don't want to name a small town because I don't want to single anybody out.
Barry.
Don't do that. Don't say it. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like big offices, big companies aren't going to these small towns because there's no talent pool.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to even have an office for our office in Midtown where I live because I know people like Neil won't come down here.
Yeah, I'll be work from home.
We need
you can see the demographic depending on the area. Like I live in, I guess, Yonge and Bloor area, Yonge and Davenport. I used to call that Midtown, but I don't think it's Midtown anymore. Everybody, most people like, you know, some like in a building like mine where there are units that come up for rent, but they want to be downtown in the core. They want to be in the mix, you know, either in the East End, Liberty Village, or the Distillery, or literally in the entertainment district, you know.
And why is that?
Towers of power down there, man.
But why do people want to be
in
downtown?
Your experience,
I think commute maybe might be one of the things.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like community
it's a younger
is a big
scene,
part.
and they want to be able to have access to
energy.
the energy.
Yeah, 100%. Like I can.
We are one of the
that.
fastest growing cities in North America. I mean, it's
a big
going
city.
Nuts,
yeah, for sure. And I think in Canada, it's the biggest. Well, I don't think it is the biggest city in Canada.
Yeah.
And if you want to be in Canada, which there's several reasons for that, why wouldn't you want to be in Toronto?
I think we're more hyped than Vancouver, to be very honest.
Oh, for sure. It's
absolutely. Like a mini New York up here.
It's the economic engine of Canada, like hands down.
Yeah.
So that's where all the jobs are. But yeah, Neil, talk about why you want to be downtown.
I mean, community is a big part. You want to be in that big mixing pot of everything, entertainment, food, all your friends. Like, why not, right?
People, dating, everything.
It's part of life.
Exactly. Yeah.
So as the demand is stronger and stronger, I think that people are coming back downtown, and as they're moving to the country, they're going to come downtown.
Yeah.
So K1s are specialists in leasing, and it just sucks that it's kind of really competitive out there. So what are you going to do to pivot?
Like I said, you know, the whole thing is to be organized. You know, victory loves preparation. So it's about getting your documents in order. You know, obviously, it's definitely advantageous for you to have a job.
Yeah. Good job.
If you don't have a job, you know, I do a lot of students. You better have a good co-signer or some nice parents. They're going to take care of you. You know, I've done many leases where you've put a whole year up front for their kids. Yeah, it's nuts.
So I tell all my peers in this industry that are landlords as well too, and some of our clients, I actually don't prefer people that put 1 year up front. I'd rather them have a good job where if it's verified, right? And that's like a job is like everything to some people. You know what I mean? Like that's their source of income. Without it, then it's part of your life. If you mess up on your rental and you get sued and you go to court and you get a judgment and whatever, and then you go for collections, you can easily garnish wages of somebody that's employed. Yeah. As opposed to an entrepreneur that just pays 1 year up front.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So I'd rather take a well-employed person that has an established job, and it's not easy to just quit like that and start their own business or whatever. Yeah. Because there's security in rental payments.
Yeah. My first question usually to the other agent is, you know, what does your client want? Is he money motivated, or does he want a good client?
Right, because a lot of these rentals are all mom and pop owned, right? So it's off like the one-off landlords. Maybe they have like 2 properties, maybe they have like 10 properties, whatever.
They want to break even or have a cash flow positive, which is almost,
Yeah, well, before we get that, but like the qualification, right? Like you're not talking to a 200-unit apartment owner, like or even 2,000 building portfolio apartment owner, right? Where they have their standard criteria. These are all mom and pop, so every mom and pop is different. Yep. Every individual is different, and their criteria is different, which means that maybe they want the 1 year up front. Maybe they want high rent instead of a lower rent and find a better quality tenant. Maybe they don't want somebody without pets. And legally, yes, by the way, you can choose to not have a tenant with pets. Like you choose not to accept them because they have a pet. But once they're in there with a pet, you can't kick them out.
Right.
But anyway, this is the question I get a lot. Another thing is maybe
can I get one?
Yeah, some tenants, some landlords are okay with pets, right? Because they're pet lovers themselves, and or maybe there's a damage. Well, you're not supposed to have damage process, but maybe they'll, have some sort of guarantee against any damage, right?
You can volunteer. That's the word.
Well, yeah, you can volunteer too, right?
Volunteer.
So it depends. So that's what Kayvon's talking about in terms of what the landlord wants. You ask them that question. Yeah. And what else do you do to get leases accepted right now?
Well, again, it's out of the norm, but you want to come off as the strongest profile, and there's people out there, that basically the landlord have the pick of the litter in there. It's just people with 6-digit salaries. They'll make it, they'll cut it. A single person rather than a couple. Yeah. We can try to strengthen this a little bit by again offering more first and last and a few more months. It's not the norm, but you can volunteer that, and it makes it kind of sort of legal.
That's kind of why I'm not opposed to landlord and tenant boards. So everybody says investing in Ontario kind of sucks because you got to follow the landlord and tenant board, and the rules are heavily weighted towards the tenants. Look, though I'm okay with it because it's a fast appreciating market, and tenants should be protected because landlords are like they have the power right now, to be honest, right? With 1% vacancy, 2% vacancies, whatever the vacancy rates are now. Before the pandemic, it was less than 1% vacancy rates. Yeah. So, especially in today's market, landlords have their pick in any kind of tenant, so they can basically tell them what to do, right? And even whether it's legal or not,
Yeah. So back to your question. I mean, and you mentioned this before exactly. And nobody likes to receive 30 PDFs. So I really, I manicure the documents, into a nice, clean, and that's worked for me quite often. Where actually the agent says, I picked you because you were the cleanest presentation here. So you do that. There's a whole bunch of little things,
little even like welcome notes or whatever, video messages or little letters.
And I get a lot of clients that I speak with, and you can tell they resist wanting to work with an agent, but they tell me, I keep getting rejected. I'm like, yeah, that's because you're dealing directly with the other agent, and you're not skilled into how to deal with this whole situation.
Have you ever dealt with like entitled tenants where they think that just because they're paying $2,500 a month or whatever it is that they should have everything? Yeah, you ever dealt with that?
Well, yeah. I mean,
why won't the landlord accept me? Like, I don't get it.
That's right. Yeah.
I get paid so much.
Yeah. Well, it happens. I mean, but again, the landlords can do what they want. And at the end of the day, it's not like the old days where you used to meet and shake hands face to face or anything like that. Right. 95% of the deals, I think I do 1 or 2 out of 10 will be like, can we do a Zoom call with your, landlord tenant? Right. That's kind of old school, and it's kind of good because, the landlord cares and the tenant, and they get that relationship going already. So
sometimes that helps too. Like I've seen situations where people offer us a Zoom call, a meet and greet to satisfy, their comfort level with the tenant, right? Yeah. So that might help. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like whatever you present on paper really only shows the ability to pay the rent or not. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't show them how clean they are. It doesn't show them how, if they're noisy or whatever it is. It just shows them they have the ability to pay the rent. But chances are you have good credit, good job, good profile. Your other parts of your life, like how you carry yourself and how you take care of your place, clean your dishes, whatever. Yeah. It should be like organized too. Yeah. Generally, I find. Yeah.
And you want somebody to represent you because, you want somebody that's been in and out of these buildings day in, day out. And, that's where we give you our feedbacks. Yeah. There's some buildings out there that are not so desirable. We won't mention any names, but yeah. It's all the value in working with somebody, and it's free. It's the landlord that pays, and and we're not like a car dealership. It's like we don't push you or pressure you to get listings that we have on our roster. We can open any door in Toronto,
and it's free.
And it's free.
Well, anyway, this isn't a sales pitch for.
Yeah, no, it's not a sales pitch, but I'm
me.
just explaining the process. A lot of people don't know. They keep asking me, so I usually give them a 101 real quick.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot
They
of
don't
people
know.
who don't know
They
how
ask.
how it
They're like, "How
works.
much is your fee?" And I'm like, "There's no fee." They're like, "Is that a trick question?" No, it's not.
Perfect opportunity for a webinar again.
Yeah.
We did one already. It's on YouTube somewhere. Okay, but anyway,
Yeah.
stepping back a little bit. 2 months ago, what was the market like, or when did this market heat up like this?
It's hard to tell because it changes so much. But let's say 2 months ago, I could still, have a conversation with a client, set them up. They send me listings. I book them 24 hours advance notice for those that are tenanted, and we could calmly go and see them. Yeah. Now it's no, it's not like that. Yeah, so it's all of a sudden shifted drastically over the last month. Quickly.
Last month.
Yeah,
not even 2 months.
Enough to make my head spin. I was like, "What's going on? I got to adjust here. What can I do? To make this?"
And on our aspect as like the listing people, whenever I'm looking at properties online, you can see the difference. So a couple months ago, when we are giving updates to our landlords on the markets and the current state, like, okay, there's some new properties here, stays on for like a couple weeks, few weeks, I don't know, something
rent?
around that. Yeah, for rent.
Yeah,
for rent.
Yeah, 7 days, 10 days,
And then you could see recently in the past like week or two,
2-3 days.
all of a sudden it's like the update is, okay, there's this new property, 0 days on the market, it's fresh. And the next day, oh, by the way, it's gone.
Yeah,
it's crazy, right?
that's nuts.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's crazy.
And there's a period of time, actually, for a long time, it's been all immigrants, tech workers, a lot of them, generally, like skilled workers coming here.
That's the word.
Yeah,
Skilled
working.
workers.
Well, but they're mostly in tech for some reason. I guess tech's the world now, anyway.
Yeah, tech's where it's at.
Yeah.
In your generation.
Even though we're all down right now on Rogers.
Yeah, yeah. So no, I found that the past little while it's all been new immigrant coming to Canada that are skilled workers, they're single people, whatever, maybe their families, whatever, but they're here to rent.
Yeah.
And I find that rental pool has been drastically increased because of that, because people aren't choosing to buy anymore because they can't qualify or whatever reason, right? They can't get the mortgage rates are higher, payments are higher. So that pool is just getting bigger and bigger. And it all comes down to supply and demand. Demand is so strong, supply is so low. Nobody wants to rent out their places anymore, or nobody has places anymore to rent out because no one's buying them as rentals anymore because pre-construction is so expensive, right? And pre-construction is awesome. So anyway, for those people that, actually I'll go back to that.
Yeah.
For those people that think that pre-construction is too expensive, yes, it's expensive, but it's not going to get any cheaper. There's no way it's going to get any cheaper. So you better do it now because today's going to be the cheapest that you're ever going to get it at.
Tomorrow's price.
Yeah,
right?
you're buying tomorrow's price.
You're buying tomorrow's price because the cost of land is expensive. The cost of construction, materials and labor is expensive. The cost of the development levies and taxes and all that, that's expensive because the city's poor and they need their infrastructure and all that kind of stuff, right? And, developers' profits are there too, but it's a small part of it. At the end of the day, it's supply and demand. And it's just all like the demand, the cost push inflation of everything.
Yeah. And you get a break. You get to be able to pay your down payment in chunks, right? So it's an opportunity. But
so anybody thinking about investing in pre-construction, look at this hot rental market. It's not going to get any better. If you look at New York, for example, and I keep saying this, New York, where no one even thinks about owning. It's not even in the conversation. It's not even thinking about renting by yourself. That's a luxury in its own. Yeah. It's renting with roommates is the new thing.
It's nuts there, yeah.
Right? We had 1+ dens or even 1 bedrooms. Remember that one? I don't want to say which one, but there's people that want to rent where there's somebody living in the living room and then somebody living in the bedroom. It's like sleeping there.
I remember that, yeah.
And that's normal. Actually, I'm seeing that a lot. And that's actually okay, I guess. In New York, that was okay.
Yeah.
Right?
The landlords have to adjust here for that, I think, that sometimes, but they don't necessarily have to because of, again, they can pick who they want.
They can pick who they want, but I think as the rental prices keep pushing up, like over time, it's going to be so expensive where the demand is going to come down a bit because it's so expensive. They're going to move to other parts of the world. It doesn't have to be Canada. It could be Montreal. It could be, Toronto. It could be Montreal. It could be like Ottawa. It could be wherever, right? And I think that landlords are going to have to adjust and take whoever they get, I guess, in a sense. Almost.
And for investors, you're more professional at it, but for investors, this is kind of feeling good to know that you can buy an investment property pre-construction and you're going to find a tenant.
Yeah, it's certainly always a risk, and I think all the efficiencies of investing will shrink over time, obviously, because more people are going to get into it. But yeah, there's certainly demand out there for rentals, no matter what size, whether it's a studio condo all the way up to like a $30,000 lease. I just saw the other day, $30,000 lease came out in the market. Yeah, so
that's crazy. I did a $10,000 one not long ago.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one at Bloor in Parliament somewhere.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's our world. That's the market. Everyone needs somewhere to live. At the end of the day, it comes down to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Housing is one of the basic needs, and there's no surprise. Housing is the largest part of the CPI basket of goods.
Yeah.
Right? It's like 40% by far, highest of everything else. You don't need bread as much as you need housing. So, it's just the way it is.
I think there's going to be more more renters in the future.
As we go further. Right?
Yeah, a lot more renters. And kind of like New York. Like you said, there's
New York, Paris,
those
London,
who own, but everything, yeah.
Hong Kong.
So the golden question then that everyone's probably thinking about, I don't know if that's on your schedule for the podcast today, but will rent prices keep going up?
Yeah.
Thank you for asking that. I was going to ask that. What do you think, Kevin? Do you think rent prices?
I don't know. What was this thing
up?
that Doug Ford just passed? He passed
the rental rates.
Yeah,
the
that we can raise the rental rates.
I think it's like 2.5% now.
Yeah.
Oh, for next year.
Next year, yeah.
So because inflation's running at 7-8%, right?
Yeah.
So they're saying that rental rates next year, you're allowed to go 2.5%. It's still not a lot of money.
I do have some tenants that have asked me can we do an older building because they're scared.
This is one, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like pre-2019.
So you're talking about 2018, November 15th, 2018.
That's right.
Those buildings built first occupied before November 15th, 2018 are rent controlled. Ones that are occupied after are not rent controlled. So that means you can raise the rent to whatever you want after that. Right?
Yeah, and within, I guess, the guidelines, market price. No, I mean, you can't.
No, after. You can raise it 100% if you want to. You can raise it 1,000%.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying you should.
Will it rent, though, like somebody who has a 1+1.
If you want to kick somebody out, that's what you do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well.
Okay. But the thing is, if I always tell landlords, yes,
That's
you can raise
nice.
like another $100, $200, whatever it is a month, right? That could be like 10% or something, right?
Yeah.
Don't do that because the tenant's going to get pissed off and they're going to leave.
Yeah.
Your cost of vacancy and cleanup and,
paying us.
The cost of turnover.
Yeah,
right?
turnover. Yeah,
that's all there, right? And then how long is it going to take to find somebody? You're not going to find somebody the next day. You're going to have to. It's going to be like another month or two vacancies, right? And there's a risk that the next tenant you're going to get is going to trash the place, or they're not going to like what the previous tenant did, and they're going to ask for paint job or whatever it might be, right?
For sure.
So why have turnover? I think in our as a investor, the biggest thing you want is minimize vacancies, in my opinion.
If you have a good tenant, don't be greedy.
Don't mess it up.
Don't mess it up. It costs you more to find somebody new in the long term.
Well, that's it, right? So I usually like when tenants leave on their own, based on their own life situations.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I like them to leave, but I'm saying the way I can get rental increases is by when the tenants turn over. Right, on their own, without me harassing them, without me telling them, you got to move. Just stay in there. Just don't worry. Just stay in there as long as you want. I'll work my way around if I have to pivot another way as much as I can. Right. So I don't know. That's how it'll be as a good landlord, hopefully. And you know what a good landlord means? What's a good landlord? What do you guys think a good landlord is?
To me, a good landlord is somebody who's going to take care of its property because it's his own investment.
Maintenance,
at the end of the day, maintenance. Yeah.
Well, slumlords, right?
Yeah.
The reason why they're called slumlords is because they treat it like a slum. They don't take care of their place. They don't maintain things. When you get that call, when your air conditioner breaks and it's $5,000 to replace it, go and replace that damn air conditioner. Like you got to do it. You have to.
And that's an indication. And also for me, when I take clients around, you walk into a place and it's a mess. It's like, do you really want to be here? Like, it doesn't look like the landlord's doing an effort to try to, keep up the place for you. Yeah. So when something's going to break, what's going to be like, Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, it's a fun game of cat and mouse between landlords and tenants. There's a benefit for both sides, whether you want to be a mouse or a cat. I don't know.
Wait, but no one answered the question.
Where do you think rental's going to go?
Well, where do you think rental is going to go? Is the price going to be as it is right now? Is it going to go up? Is it going to is this going
to level off?
Is this the level off point? And is it going to go back down soon? Or
I don't know if we've made it all the way back to pre-COVID.
I think it's past
pre-COVID. Yeah, are we? Yeah, okay. So then,
So look, the way I look at it is that it's not going to come down. All right, it's not going to come down. You know why? Because inflation is real, and it not in terms of prices of things going up. It's just the value of our fiat currency going down because of all the money printing that's happening. So $1,000 today is not worth the same as $1,000 tomorrow. In fact, I remember growing up. Well, not even that growing up. Like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, $1,000 was a lot of money. And now, I'm not saying it's still not a lot of money. It still is a lot of money, but it doesn't buy you as much anymore. Or $1 million, whatever number.
Well, usually price of commodity in general doesn't go down, so life is just going to get more expensive. Coffee was the example we used to use. How much you used to pay for a coffee, and how much you pay for a coffee now?
on coffee right now.
All of you millennials. Holy crap! No,
it was under $1 if I remember. I don't drink coffee, but it's like what, $3, $4 now for a coffee?
Yeah, if that, at least easily.
Yeah.
So I don't think rental prices are going to come down because of inflation. I don't think rental prices are going to come down because it's harder and harder to be an owner, and there's less and less people in the the ownership portion, so they're going to rent. And it's just a lifestyle choice, right? And I can't see it coming down. I can't with the demand.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we, this is for another podcast that we want to do, I think, next time. It's about the crash, the market crash.
In the 80s or 90s.
The 80s or the 60s. Yeah. And
well, okay. So back then in the 80s or 90s, rentals weren't back, like from what I understand of the market anyway, rentals weren't provided by mom and pop shops because the condo industry wasn't that popular back then. No. They didn't have the legal framework of condos. It was more, what was it? The other way. Not what are they called again? I don't know why it escapes me.
I'm not sure.
The not condo ownership where you own shares in the building.
Oh,
co-ops.
They're co-ops,
co-ops, right?
Co-ops,
and they weren't as
they weren't that many towers back then, anyways.
That's what I mean.
I mean, in '84, I remember coming down Yonge Street, Yonge and Eglinton. Hello, there was one tower there. Yeah, there was nothing.
Like, no offense to Drake out there, but like, I don't think Drake made Toronto. I think he was at the right place, right time. He was a product of Toronto because of all the immigration that happened, right?
Hype.
Raptors started getting better. Everybody started getting better. So I don't think Drake is the guy who put
Toronto
on the map.
Slack here.
It's the other way around, right? You can disagree in the comments, whatever you want. But ultimately, I think that Toronto's been growing to a better place. But before that, it was a slow city. I remember it being sleepy, and there weren't as many high rises. The co-ops some of them didn't allow rentals. So you're stuck with purpose-built rentals. People that, like funds, institutions, that buy 100-unit buildings and make all rentals. And you go to an apartment. That's why apartments were handling the rental market. Yeah. Now, because of the condoizing of all these places, because there's no more land to build, like everything that's being constructed out there, majority is all condo, right? Like you're not going to be able to buy a freehold property anymore unless you go really in the far outskirts. So the rental supply has been shifted to the mom and pops. I shouldn't say mom and pops, it's individual owners, I should say. Yeah. The retail investor. So I think it's getting harder and harder for that to actually happen and to be built. So there's going to be more supply of renter, more demand, a bigger pool of renters out there. So it's not going to.
And the landlords are pushing the envelope. I had one. She resides in New York, so I don't know if she had a distorted view of the rent prices, but she had a 1+1 converted into a large 1-bedroom. She spent a lot of money in the renovation. That was a motivation factor for her. She wanted $3,000 for it. Right. And did
she get it?
I don't know. No, I'm not sure. Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I've seen stuff go from a little less, but
yeah, and the cost of the real estate itself, that's another thing, right? Like all the upgrades that you put into it, or you buy new, like all the factors I said before of why real estate goes up in price, that the landlords want to recoup that, right? Otherwise they wouldn't do it. Builders wouldn't build if the rental market wasn't where it was because there's no profit involved. Buyers wouldn't purchase it because there's you're just losing money every month, right? So I just think that rental rates can't come down. I just don't think it will.
Okay. And that's just that. Well, we'll see.
Unless it's like a net decreasing population. Yeah. Like if you're, for example, Detroit, for example, right? They're a shrinking population. They've been for a while since the auto industry left that area.
But it kind of rebuilt a little bit.
Maybe did. Well, I'm just throwing that as an example. That's what I know. But I'm sure there's other parts of the world, or this country even for that matter, that are declining in population. Now, those places aren't afforded the same opportunities that we are here as investors, as landlords, even as tenants here, because we're a growing population. There's a lot of good things with that. As a resident of Toronto, you get all the wonderful things like sirens out there all the time.
Yeah, you also get you got to get used to that. That's white noise.
No, but that's also a benefit too. If you're an aging person, maybe you want to be around good hospitals and good healthcare.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's good restaurants and all these cool things that pop up. BlogTO, as much as everyone knows I hate them, the thing is they're the ones providing good news because they're the ones that, first of all, they get paid for advertising, but the ones that actually good journalism, they're actually showing what's coming out in Toronto because of all the density that's happening, because of all the people that are here. And, we're a human species. We survive on our network.
Yeah, literally just yesterday on BlogTO, I just saw that they were doing the outdoor theater at Courttown Commons. So I just went there.
They're very active on Instagram. I see they're doing some pretty cool videos.
Yeah, but, they're a product of, first of all, advertising, but also of the wonderful things that density is providing Toronto, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right. And all these cool little things that you wouldn't get in small towns.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's that. There comes to a point where it get like, depending on your family situation, it might get too much. It might be getting too suffocating when it becomes too dense. That's an individual choice. But overall, I think the people like it.
People adjust over time. I mean, right now I find there's a little bit of adjustment. People are very protective of their space. But, you know, look at New York, and then, you know, like I said, I do a lot of people coming from India right now, and we're just laughing it up with those guys. Are like, these guys feel like they can breathe here.
Oh, yeah. That webinar we're talking about, right? Remember what that guy said? He said, you can cross the street and people will stop for you.
Yeah.
I just listened to that. They're 30 meters back.
He was
and they
shocked.
Will stop and motion.
He was shocked.
That's crazy. Whereas over there, like, it's a game of chicken.
No, it's the streets are filled. You know, I was just talking to a couple of guys. They're from Bombay, I think, and it's like, the population is ridiculous, ridiculously.
In the size landmass that we have of Canada,
you don't have
30
privacy.
million people in their little city.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
There's no privacy, and here you still do. But, you know, I can see people still, you know, walking on the sidewalks. It's like, you know, flexing because the other guy's taking too much room. They're not used to walking around each other yet, like they do in New York and those other places. Get used to it. It's happening in Toronto.
Yeah. All right. I think one thing's common. We all love Toronto.
For sure.
We're all Toronto advocates, and that's what we do. We deal with housing for people that love Toronto. So anyway, thanks for listening. If you like what you saw, or you like what you listened to, please consider subscribing and following us on all the social media links that we provide below in the show notes. Thanks for watching. Anything last closing comments?
Nope.
No, I mean, Kayvon's killing it. Yeah, thank you for coming today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I'm the one that takes his paperwork coming in.
Yeah.
And I see he does like at least 2 leases a week. So
usually on a good time, month,
you have streaks where you literally call it a home run, where he does like a lease,
hat trick,
hat trick. There you go. Because he's working
1, 2, 3 in a couple of days. Yeah,
so he kills it. He kills it. I love that he's here.
What do you mean? Thanks for coming in. You're part of the team. You got to come in, man. Come on.
Yeah.
No,
I'm here. I'm nervous, but I'm here.
No, thanks for watching. All right. Catch you guys next time.
Take care. Bye bye.
Add it up.